Most people think getting a US green card is nearly impossible. Before you pay anyone $1 or believe another instant green card promise, I'm breaking down every real path. The easy ones, the hard ones, the dangerous myths in the next few minutes. You see the real ways people get permanent residency in the United States, the honest pros and cons of each, and how to avoid the traps that cost people years of their life, and the opportunities people overlook every day. Stay locked in, your future might be one farm away, because we don't want this to happen to you.
Uncertainty is now gripping some Jamaicans who are keen to migrate to the United States.
US President Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration. On January 4, President Trump posted a list of 120 countries.
Welcome to Yaad Vibez, where we believe in common sense conversation. Yaad is supporting Yaadis. Today's video is for educational purposes only, not legal advice. Immigration laws change, so always double check everything on official US government site and talk with a qualified immigration attorney before making any decision. Some people like follow hearsay and other people's stories from different states. Don't do that. Immigration cases are personal and complicated. For legal advice tailored to you, always consult a licensed immigration attorney. Links to official government resources are below. Alright, so let's start. So first off, what is a green card really? A US green card is proof that you are a lawful permanent resident, which means you can live and work in the United States long term, travel in and out with some limits, and later you may become eligible to apply for US citizenship if you are qualified. You can't just buy a green card at a travel agency or download it from the internet. For most people, it starts with a petition, then an application, background checks, sometimes an interview, medical, and a lot of waiting time. Okay, let's break down the main types of green cards. First one we're starting off with, let's start with the most common pathway, family-based immigration. If you have a qualified family relationship with a United States citizen or green card holder, you may be eligible. Qualifying relationships: immediate relatives of US citizens, spouses, children under 21, parents. Other family categories: brother, sister, married, children, etc. And the forms you use for these is the I-130, which is a petition for alien relative, and you have the I-485, adjustment of status if already in US. Okay, so let's break down the positives. When it works, it's powerful, one of the most straightforward paths. Immediate relatives, spouses, parents, children have no annual visa limit. You are joining family, building a better life, and in some categories, the wait can be shorter than the others, especially for immediate relatives of US citizens. For some people already in the US, it may be possible to adjust status without leaving the country using a form like I-485 if they are qualified. Alright, the negatives: must prove a real relationship, not a fraudulent one. The biggest myth is marrying for papers. Next, entering a fake marriage is immigration fraud and can lead to serious penalties, including being barred from the US. Other family categories face long waiting times, sometimes years or decades. Even genuine couples face long processing times, interviews, and heavy paperwork, and people in certain family categories can wait many years because of visa backlogs. Okay, we're number 2, employment-based green cards. Another big path is through employment. These green cards are divided into preference categories from extraordinary abilities to skilled workers. Here, a US employer sponsors you for a specific job, often through categories like EB1, which is for extraordinary abilities, which people include athletes, scientists, artists, executives. You have EB2, advanced degree professionals, national interest waiver. EB3, skilled workers, professionals, and some unskilled jobs. EB5, investor placing 800 to 1,050,000 into approved projects, usually using petition called I-140 after a labor certification process in many cases. Maybe that's one of boy Vibez cartel use. But I've known people from working in medical in industries where hospitals are brought in people from different countries like Philippines and India and all different places. I've seen this. Okay, here are the positives now. Can lead to faster processing in certain categories. EB1 and NIW don't always require employer sponsorship. This path can work well if you have specialized skills, higher education, or a strong job offer in a field where U.S. employers need workers, especially hospitals, as I was just mentioning. In some situations, the petition and green card application can be filed around the same time if a visa number is available, which may save time. Okay, now for the negatives. It's not just get a job and stay forever. Many categories require proving there aren't qualified U.S. workers for the role, and the process can take months or years. If you lose the job that supports your case at the wrong time, your immigration plans can be at risk depending on your status and stage in the process. Requires documents, proven skills, and sometimes labor certifications. EB5 requires significant financial investments. So there you have it for the negatives. And also the form is I-140 called Immigration Petition for Alien Workers. Third way, diversity visa lottery. One of the most surprising options is the Green Card Lottery, officially called the Diversity Visa Program. Once a year, eligible people from certain countries can enter an online lottery run by the US government for a chance to apply for an immigrant visa. Here are the positives. The entry itself is free when you use the official US government website, and it has helped many people from underrepresented countries become permanent residents. So it's free to enter, zero cost. It doesn't require a sponsor. You don't need a family sponsor or an employer to enter, as long as you meet the basic requirements like education or work experience. Here are the negatives now. The biggest downside, it's a lottery. You know how that go. Lotteries for people who can't do maths. Millions apply, but only a limited number are selected each year, so you can't rely on it as your main plan. Very competitive, only 55,000 winner per year. Again, many scammers create fake website, charges fees, or promise guarantee selection and increased chances. They can't. Don't believe it. The real program is explained on the official US government pages, and no one can legally guarantee you a winning selection. So take this like how when they play a cash pot and all them other lot of where Jamaica have our mega million or whatever. You ain't winning. It's hard to win. Okay, we're at around number 4, humanitarian and special path. Next is the category many people misunderstand: asylum and humanitarian programs. These are designed for protection, not shortcuts. Some people can apply for a green card after granted refugee or asylum status through certain special visas or through long-time residence under special rules set by law. Asylum. These are people eligible for a green card 1 year after approval. Refugee status, VAWA, Violence Against Women Act for abused spouses, children of US citizen green card holders. UT visas for crime victims or human trafficking victims. So a lot of you going under abusive relationship, you don't have to stay under it just for the green card. Go look these up. Alright, here are the positive. These paths exist to protect people facing serious danger, persecution, or extraordinary situation, and they can eventually lead to permanent resident status for those who qualify. In some of these categories, people may apply for a green card after a required time in that status, following the official steps. Negatives. These options are not shortcuts. They have strict eligibility rules and require strong evidence. Claiming something that isn't true can create serious legal problems. Okay, The process can be emotionally heavy and very slow, and people may face interview, security checks, and complex form. Okay, last main way, and stay tuned because we have some bonus one that we're gonna add at the end, but this is the main last one. We're gonna give you the pros and cons. Marriage to a US citizen. Yes, marriage is a legitimate path, but it's the most watched, investigated, and most misunderstood one. Requirement: must prove a real good faith relationship, joint evidence, bills, lease, photos, communication history, interview often required. Okay, here are the pros. Fastest category for many applicants. No visa backlog for immediate spouses. Cons: heavy scrutiny for fraud. Conditional green card first 2 years. Must file I-751 to remove conditions. And the form you find for that is the I-130 and I-485R, CR-1, IR-1. Process you're filing from abroad. Okay, these are the bonus, some special categories. There are also lesser known paths that many people overlook. You have special immigrant juvenile status, SIJS for minors, religious workers, EB-4, long-term Cuban residents under the Cuban Adjustment Act. I'm not sure if this applies for Jamaicans or any other country. Certain military service members or their families. You also have green card through registry. And for the registry, if you entered the United States prior to January 1st, 1972, you have resided in the United States continuously since you entered. You are a person of good moral character. You are not ineligible for naturalization citizen. You are not removable, deportable under section 237A4B. So no found no grandpa and great grandpa who they are from Rocky Kill Philo before 1972, they could have a possible chance to a green card through registry. So you need to check that out. Now let's talk about the traps. These are mistakes that can destroy your chances. Entering on a visitor visa with the intention to stay permanently. Fake marriages, fake job offers, paying agents for guaranteed results, letting your status expire. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Okay, here's the reality check. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Nearly every green card path takes time, sometimes months, sometimes years, depending on your category, home country, and current laws. There are filing fees, medical exams, document translations, and sometimes travel costs if you need to complete your process at the US Embassy or consulate. Emotionally, it can feel like your life is on pause. Plans for work, study, and family may depend on one decision you can't control. That's why stay informed, organized, and mentally strong is just as important as filling out forms correctly. How to research safely. So how do you research your options without getting scammed? First, always start with trusted official sources like US government website that end in .gov when learning about green cards and visas. Second, if someone promises guaranteed approval or asks you to pay to enter a government lottery, that's a red flag. Real programs explain requirements publicly, and official DV entries on government sites do not require a separate entry fee. If your situation is complicated, consider speaking with a licensed immigration attorney or a recognized legal service provider instead of relying on random social media advice. If this video helped you understand the real way people get a green card, show some love to Yaad Vibez by hitting the like and share it to somebody you know who it might help. In future episode, we'll be breaking down each part step by step, maybe share some real stories and talk about how to prepare documents, mindset, and the money on a live stream. So turn the notification on, do all you can, and remember this is for educational and informational purposes only and not legal or professional advice. It does not create any client or attorney relationship. Immigration laws and policy change. Some of these might be changed after I make this video. Uncle Donald now play around. Always check official website again and consult a qualifying immigration professional about your specific situation. Peace.